Hello basketball coaches and basketball players, my name is Alan from House Basketball Training. Today I'm going to talk to you about the overload basketball offense. Now the overload basketball offense is when you have 3 or more players on the same side of the court against a zone defense. And today I'm going to show you it against a 2-3 zone. This video may be a bit long because I'm going to show you different ways of entering the overload, but also a motion offense that does run into an overload, actually 2 motion offenses, that will definitely help you score against a 2-3 zone. So let's get down to the clipboard and let's check these out. Okay, so just the basics really quickly. We have a 2-3 zone. We have a player who's guarding the middle. We have guards, or forwards I should say, on the outsides. And then we have 2 guards up top. So then from there, any of these overlapping areas is, generally speaking, a double team location. So now what we're going to have is the first way that I like to enter the overload. So if we are running a 3-out motion or non-motion offense, we're going to be like this, and the defense is going to be looking very similar to this. And from here, we have a double team up top because that's in between both of their zones. And we're going to start with having a pass over to player 3 or player 2. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to show you on player 3 just for this video or the sake of this video. And then what's going to happen is the defense will shift just like this, and we could even have player 1 and 3 go and double team player 3 blue. And now we're going to have player 1, he's going to cut down towards this low corner, and then from there, we are now going to have player 1 who's possibly open. If he is open, he's going to receive that ball. He could jack up that shot very quickly. So now we are technically in an overload offense. And then, personally, what I would have is now player 4 will be entering the high post so that now we have 4 players. The idea behind this is player 4 is now in the zone of these 3 players, and these 2 players don't have a zone in that location. So now we have 4 players inside of 3 player zones so that now one of those 4 players will always be open. So when you have that pass into player 4, what you're going to have now, if it's a smart defensive team, it will drop player 1 down, even though now he is still behind player 4. Player 4 could drive towards the rim and draw in player 5 and player 4. Player 5 would then be open for a layup. However, with player 4 now drawing player 1 in, and if player 1 is quick and he gets in front, that now leaves player 3 open for a 3-point shot. So you can quite literally have these 4 players just playing with the ball, and there will always be 1 player open. You can even set screens for players. So you could have the ball out on this wing, or even out on the near the point. It doesn't matter. We could have a screen down for player 5, who is then going to pop up towards the mid key, and he could be open for a quick short floater or a close shot. There's so many different opportunities that you have out of this overload. And we can enter this overload with the 4-out offense as well. With the 4-out offense, we can overload by having 1 pass over to player 3. We could enter into the triangle offense, which would then still leave player 1 open unless they were smart and they went into single coverage. However, what we're going to have now is player 4 cutting across, doing a high cut across the free throw line extended, and he could be open for that high post or that elbow shot. However, that usually does bring out player 5, which now you could do a high-low pass to player 5 blue for a nice easy layup. I, however, love to play the high-low 3-out 2-in offense, or so what some coaches call the 1-3-1 offense, but however, if it's a 1-3-1, usually player 4 is in the middle. However, the reason why I like to play this is because these players continue to move around the key, and it's just like a motion offense. It actually is a motion offense. So now we can have player 1 passing over to player 3, that would then have player 4 go over to the elbow, and now there's 2 different ways of running this offense. The first way is to have player 1 go down to this low corner. That's going to shift the defense over just like this. Now you have to remember, if player 4 was to get that ball, and he was to take one dribble towards the middle of the key. That's going to be collapsing so many players, and look who's open on this weak side. You cannot forget about the weak side player. Even though he's over here doing not much, he's basically moving from the low block to the free throw line extended. That area is his. And when you start collapsing the defense, you may have an easy shot, you may not have an easy shot, but I can guarantee you one thing. Player 2 is going to have a shot open from way over there. Now, if you were to swing that ball around, if player 4 was to get that ball out to player 2, what would happen now is player 5 would cut across the key, player 4 would go down towards the low post. We would then have player 3 doing a high cut across, and player 1 would then be that player who's going up and down that left side. Now, there's a few different ways of beating the zone defense. Getting it in the key and passing it out, swinging the ball around, and doing skip passes from the high post out to the opposite side of your overload. So with it now on this side, and that passes out, the whole defense needs to now shift over. And if they're quick, they could do it, but it's not the easiest thing for them to do. And now, once that passes out, and the defense is set again, you just have to go pass up. Again, he cuts towards the high post, or personally, player 5 would go up. That would bring player 5 red up, and then you may have player 4 blue wide open in that low post because player 5 just popped up and player 4 just moved over. Now let's talk about some motion offense that we can run. So some motion offenses that we can run is a 3-out-2 in motion offense. And we can have player 1 pass over to player 3, and player 1 would then move or screen away to player 3. Player 3 would then fill over. We would have player 4 go over to the high post, which now leaves player 5 in single coverage for both of these players. And now what we could have is a pass to the high post that would draw the player up, pass to the low post and layup. That is one option. However, we can now swing the ball around. And when we swing the ball around, that's another way that you can beat a zone defense is by swinging the ball around the perimeter. We can swing the ball around quickly. And when that ball swings, we want player 5 to go across towards the high post and player 4 to cross towards the low post. The reason for this is now we're going to be now shifting the defense, and now player 5 has to decide which one of these two players is he going to guard. If he wants to guard that high post or the low post player, player 5 could have a nice easy shot from the elbow. We would have an offensive rebounder cutting back down. Even though player 3 might be down here, player 3 blue may be able to cut down the middle of the key as well. We would have player 1 floating back as safety, and we would now have 3 offensive rebounders for that. Now let's check out my last motion offense that I like to run. Now my last motion offense I like to run is having player 1 pass over to player 3, and player 1 would go down to this low post. That would now put the zone basically into single coverage. Now, how I like to run this would now shift the defense over just like so. And now we would have, and I really, really love this play, we would have player 2 cutting towards the point. This is when we're going to swing. So there's different options that we could run out of this. We could have player 5 setting up a screen and roll, and now it would be 2-on-1. Who is player 5 red going to guard? So that's one option. And if player 5 wants to guard player 3, then player 3 can pass to player 5. If player 5 doesn't want to guard him and wants to guard player 5, then player 3 could have the floater. However, what I like to do is swing the ball around. Once that ball hits this man, player 4 needs to go down towards that low post. He is setting a screen on player 4. Player 2 in red and blue, they're going to be in single coverage. We are going to be having player 5 setting a screen on player 1. Player 1, he is our shooter. He is going to be swinging through. And this is a great play. He is going to be popping out towards that free throw line extended. Player 2 is going to pass him the ball. Player 2 is going to go down to that low corner. Player 1 could have taken that shot. However, now we have player 4 red. He is scrambling out. Who is he going to guard? He's going to be guarding player 1. Player 1 could make that extra pass to one of those two players. Player 2 could have a shot. Player 4 could have a shot. And player 5 could be sealing his man so that he could have the whole other side of the basket. So there's many different options. That is more read and react, see what the defense is doing, and then react off of it. But definitely a great play to run at the high school level. I hope that these plays help you win more games. If they do, let us know in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys again later on today for our second video of the day.